Apple TV Plus is back with a new sports comedy stick starring Owen Wilson. So today, let's see if it's worth your time. Pryce Cahill was headed for golf greatness when an on-course meltdown derailed his career. Now struggling to stay afloat, he goes all in to mentor Santi, a teenager with high potential, and maybe save himself. Ted Lasso ended. That was a great sports comedy, and I can easily see why people think that this may be the next Ted Lasso for Apple TV Plus. It's a sports comedy centered around golf. We have Owen Wilson within this series, and it has all the right ingredients to be that next Ted Lasso. Unfortunately, this is nowhere near as good as Ted Lasso. I don't think it will gain that momentum that Ted Lasso had for Apple TV Plus, but I do think that this is a decent series. 10 episodes long. It focuses a lot on Owen Wilson's character, Pryce, that once was regarded as this top golfer. And he had this meltdown, and so now he's struggling. He's divorced, he's losing his house, he's often caught running these schemes in bars to earn money. And he meets Santi, 17 years old, and wants to be his mentor and lead him through these golf tournaments. What the series does so well is looking at Santi's character, played by Peter Dager, and how he can find that confidence while being on the golf course. When we do meet Santi, he's put golf behind him, so he has to gain that confidence again. And that relationship between Pryce and Santi does develop nicely throughout the show. See the character that Pryce, that Owen Wilson plays, a typical kind of washed up character, and he finds his new purpose on training Santi, and Santi learns that confidence, going after what he loves. He has the skill of seeing the course in a different way than other golfers. I mean, gaining that confidence and becoming the best version of yourself is a highlight of this show. I didn't find this series to be entirely funny. Like, I didn't find myself laughing quite often within the show, but it ends up being a feel-good series because through all of this, Pryce is getting back into the game of golf and reliving those memories and reliving those glory days that he had and finding his purpose once again. And the supporting cast is great, and they really do contribute a lot to the middle half of the series. We initially start the show as Pryce that meets Santi. He has to convince Santi's mom, played by Mariana Trevino, to let her son go on this road trip to all these different tournaments. Mark Maron plays Owen Wilson's former caddy. He's bitter at times, but has a soft heart. And in the middle half of the show introduces Lily Kay as Zero. They're defiant at times, but they end up being the love interest in the show. It's that middle half of the series that ends up kind of losing its momentum. Initially starting off the series as this great chemistry between Pryce and Santi, and really focusing on golf and training. And then you get to that middle half to where Santi starts to realize, do I want this? Do I go after it? He's got a lot of people in his head that are telling him that he's not going to be this next big golfer and you shouldn't take all these big risks. And it loses its momentum in the middle half when you kind of go on this road trip and there's a lot of stops along the way that halts that momentum. You start to take those characters and have storylines for them. And it loses its focus on Pryce and Santi, which was a great setup for the show and a great way to end the show as well. But it's that middle half to where you take everybody that's on this road trip and start to have certain storylines for them that just really don't seem to mesh very well. And I just didn't really care about all those minor characters along the way. Despite some good performances and likable characters along the way, I think it started to lose its focus in that middle half. Now, I'm not a golfer. I don't like watching golf. I'm all about baseball. Give me a good sports. Give me a good baseball comedy and drama. I'm there for it. But I found it to be quite interesting to see how people that aren't big fans of golf, and you could have one person can gain a lot of attention and a lot of people start to really focus on that one sport. Happens so many times in sports. Like, I don't pay attention to NBA and NFL, but if someone became really popular, it starts to get my attention. And that's an aspect of this show in the later half that that Santi's 17 years old. Now he's got the attention of a lot of people that aren't even golfers or enjoyed the sport of golf. And that just shows how popular he ends up being and great at golf. Doesn't skip on the game of golf, showing off his skills, showing that confidence, seeing how he can see the course in a different way just adds to his ability and his skill in that game. And it does have some cameos from real life golfers, so golf fans will probably end up enjoying that. But Owen Wilson really does shine in here, ends up being that character that is washed up, running these different schemes. Very cliche character, but once we get to know a lot about him, his relationship with Santi does work, but it benefits the character of Pryce in seeing that momentum build for that character. It's a feel-good series about gaining your confidence, going after your dreams, taking all these risks. That aspect of the show really does work, but it's that middle half when you go on this road trip and you start to introduce more characters. You have to have storylines for them. You have to break those characters down. You have to have conflict with them, and then eventually kind of building towards more tournaments along the way. The golfing's great. The characters are fun. They're likable. Owen Wilson and young Peter Dager really have that great chemistry, and seeing their relationship have that highs and lows ends up working throughout the series. I don't think it's going to be the next Ted Lasso, but it does have that feel-good vibe to it. Comedies kind of hit and miss at times, but it ends up being a great sports comedy that focuses a lot on golf. I'm gonna go ahead and give Stick a B-. Thank you guys for checking my review for Stick, the new sports comedy on Apple TV Plus. Have you guys seen it by chance? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.